Good afternoon, everybody. Bill Thornton, SoCalSabre here on a chilly day here in Victorville. I know it's not as cold as some people down in Texas, but it's pretty chilly for me here. And I welcome and I want to thank all the supporters, new and old. And today I'm going to be going over what it says in my, this is my fourth vinyl album review. I started this project back in July after we went on lockdown, and decided I was going to listen to all my albums one more time. And so I've been doing that. And then I started after 75 albums, and then I'm at about 225 I've gone through now. What I'm doing is the last 50. I review them. I make notes as I'm playing them, whether something really hit me, whether I liked it or not. And and at the end, we're going to see what I do with them today. And It has nothing to do either with the group or how it was recorded, or sometimes that might have some effect on it, whether the music was great or what. It's just that when I was listening to it, it struck a fancy with me. I made a note on it. So I'm going to bring up the slideshow here, and we're going to get this started. Okay, as you can see, the album review number 4. All these albums that are on this review are owned by me. If you're on, if you're live, come on and make some comments, say hello. If not, leave some comments if you're watching this one as a recording later on. Comments, likes, and everything really help the channel grow a lot. And I always try to get back with answering up on the comments. So let's go and take a look at. These are not all 50 albums. These are the albums that got notes and attention from me during this last review. As you can see, there's a lot of different artists on there, a lot of different years. We're talking from the late 70s all the way up to the 2013 or something, or 2011. So a lot of good stuff on there. After I made my notes and I was looking at them, it was kind of hard making the decision on them. What do you think? You like those albums? I do. They're in my collection. So the first 3 I'm going to talk about are my honorable mentions for this group. Okay? And a lot of them could have been honorable mentions. There's the Hot Rocks, the Rolling Stones from 1971. It's a very good compilation of songs. Peaked at number 4 on the Billboard charts and became their biggest selling album at the time. As far as I know right now, Sticky Fingers is their top selling album on that. Really, I enjoyed it. As you can see, it's the exclusive on gold vinyl, and nice for the collection. And then Infinite by Deep Purple. It was nominated for the 2017 Album of the Year. There was Deep Purple's 20th studio album. I got this for Christmas, and it surprised me that I got it. First of all, it surprised me that somebody would buy an album, not knowing what I had in my collection. But then I looked out, I did not have any other Deep Purple in my collection. So, the little sticker says not rock album of the year, but I don't think it made it, to tell you the truth. I know it was nominated. There's a little different than the old Deep Purple stuff that they like, but I really liked it. Then Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd from 1975. Well, this one really played with my head. This could have been all the way from here and honorable mention all the way up to the top. I mean, because it is, it's good. But when I was doing the final thing, the copy that I have is the re-released, remastered edition on a 180 gram file from 2011. It said the original was put out in 1975 and it was remastered in 2011. That's the one that I have in my collection. Sounds wonderful. It really does. If those of you that may not be totally familiar with that, I Wish You Were Here is basically behind the scenes tribute to one of their co-founders, Sid Barrett, who had to leave the group for reasons. And so they put that out. Okay, so are you ready for this? We're going to go to the top five. The top five. And then the one, that one, here we go. The first one is a surprise. Number five is Paris Blues by the Doors. This is, as it says, it was a 2022 release on Record Day, on Black Friday in 2022. And it's the last apparent recording of the Doors, which included Jim Morrison. And it just was released last year. There's a long story about how the tape got lost and everything. And the album, beside being a nice collector's edition because of Jim Morrison's song, the album is really, really nice. They got some good stuff on there. And they got a guest guitarist, Albert King, is pretty good, and that plays guitar with them on 3 different songs. But the song itself, Paris Blues, actually has lyrics in it where Jim was let me back it up. This was recorded during when they were recording the L.A. Woman sessions. And Paris Blues, in the lyrics, Jim actually talks about that he's leaving for Europe and to change his life in that. And because this was the L.A. Woman was the last album, and then he left and went to Europe. And of course, everybody knows he never came back. But I like it. And when it was Record Store Day, I went out, targeted this album on all the things that were being released that day. Targeted that I wanted this album because I knew it was coming out. So I got out to the studio and I was looking through these bins, and there was a guy next to me, and I said, hey, if you run across any Doors, let me know. He said, what are you looking for? I said, Paris Blues. He says, I think I saw it in that other bin over there. So I went over and I checked the other bin, and sure as heck, it was the last one. That's our local record store had got 3 of them in. That was the last one. So I lucked out. I thank whoever that gentleman was that pointed me in the right direction that day. That's pretty cool. So that's my number 5, Paris Blues by the Doors, including Jim Morrison. Number 4, what? Nirvana, Nevermind. Released in 1991. I only recently, in the last couple of months, got this album. It was at first seemed like it was a little hard to get. And my daughter and I were up in Vegas, and we went to Zia Records, and Zia Records had it up on the shelf, and so I picked it up right away. I really like what's going on in there. This was Nirvana's second studio album, and it's the first on a major label. Okay, and by January, it came out in 1991. By January of 92, it had reached number 1 on the U.S. Billboard chart, selling an average of 300,000 copies a month. That's crazy. That's a lot of records, and what was my other notes at? And now they weren't real well known in that, and I guess they had to travel across country to get out to LA to record it, and they had to scrape for money. They had to actually do a couple little part-time shows on the way out here to get enough money for gas to get out to California. But they made it, and Nirvana is now history. All right, and what do we got going here? That's about it for that one there. I like it. I'm glad my daughter and I went to that record store to get it. Zia Records, if you're ever in Vegas, check them out. They not only have a lot of albums, they have CDs, they have cassettes, they have board games, they have memorabilia. That was a big store. It was a pretty cool store. I'm sure I'll make that a part of my stops when I go back to Vegas again. All right, that's number 4 from Nirvana, Nevermind. Okay, number 3 from a 1972 album, Steely Dan, Can't Buy a Thrill. This was remastered and re-released in November of 2022. It's when it was first released in 72, it reached number 17 on the LP charts. It's like an upbeat, soft rock, and I really liked it. And the remastered version sounds really, really nice. But the remastered had nothing to do with it, or maybe it did. I don't know. Maybe it did with my thoughts of getting it back or getting it this high, but the album is really good. I didn't ever have it. I have it now, and I'm glad. It's number 3. Steely Dan's Can't Buy a Thrill. Okay, coming up here. Don't matter when you watch this, now or later, go down there and hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't done so yet, and push this out in the social media channels for the other music lovers in the world. All right, here we go. Number 2, Queen, The Game. You know, it was their 8th studio album, like it says, and their 8th of 15 studio albums. And it's their only album to reach number 1 in the U.S. When I hadn't listened to this for many, many years, and when I was listening to it, I was going, the songs on there are really, really good. I thought, oh my, is this a greatest hits album? So, and then I went back and looked at it again. It's not a greatest hits album. They just had enough hits on that album to make my mind think it was a greatest hits album. Really, really good. Freddie Mercury, what a great loss, that voice. What a losing that voice to us. And so let me see what I got. I got another note here. It says that and also one of their top selling albums, selling over 4 million. And there's estimates that their record sales range from 250 to 300 million, making them one of the world's biggest album sales groups. That's pretty cool. We recently went down to Temecula, California, and we saw a Queen show. Oh boy, I can't even think of the right word now, so I shouldn't even brought it up. But it was a show, Queen, with imitation, and they did a really, really good job. The guy to play Freddie Mercury was really good. Okay, here we go. My number 1, keeping this nice and short today, I think. Number 1. And this one should be no surprise if you looked at those first ones again. All right. One last time, I want to take you back to that list. A lot of good albums on here. What do you think hit my fancy? All right. There's the honorable mentions. Number 5, The Doors, Paris Blues. Number 4, Nirvana, Nevermind. Number 3, Steely Dan, Can't Buy a Thrill. Number 2, Queen, The Game. And out of these 50 albums, the number 1 pick is The Dark Side of the Moon, remastered in 2016. I always liked this. Before, years ago, I bought this when I was first in Europe, and I think that's when it came out in '73. Is their 8th of 15 studio albums, but I didn't pick it up until probably '76, 77. When was I in Europe? Yeah, no, I didn't pick it up. I was in Europe, and I got to Europe in '78, so probably '78 when I picked it up. So it was quite a while after that. And it has been certified as 14 times platinum in the UK, and topped the U.S. Billboard chart lists, and where it was charted for 967 weeks in total. Wow, that is a long run for an album to be on the charts, with an estimated sales of over 45 million copies. It is Pink Floyd's most commercially successful album and one of their best-selling albums worldwide. This was really great. The whole album is great. I like Pink Floyd, all of their albums, but this one and this one. So what happens with the ones that I picked? Well, all of the ones that come in number 5 or number 10 or will be all the different reviews that we put together at the end. When I'm finished, I'm getting closer to finishing my project or listening to all my albums, and then I'll do an all up of the winners. I'll take a look at them again, and that should be fun. And I hope that you all enjoyed this, and hope you are having a great day. So this is SoCalSabre stumbling around a little bit, saying take care of yourselves, be kind to each other, and stay safe.